Today in the news, new specs arise on the RTX 4000 series, and we discuss why it changes so much. Also, AMD finally opens up FSR 2. What's up guys, I'm Snows, and this is your boot sequence. But first, today's sponsor, Morning Brew. In the morning, do you aimlessly go through your social media to try and find something interesting, but end up with mostly dry and sometimes boring articles? Well, in the last couple of weeks, I started using Morning Brew. No, it's not a coffee. It's a free daily newsletter I get every morning that only takes 5 minutes to read and catches me up on business, finance, and tech. It's pretty witty too. Last week, I found out that LinkedIn has ghostwriters that get paid more in an hour than me in 2 weeks. So help me out here and go subscribe to Morning Brew for free by using morningbrewdaily.com/bootsequence or by clicking the link in the description down below. It takes less than 15 seconds, so seriously, help me out here. Sign up. Alright, so a couple of videos ago, I did the rundown of the rumored specs of the next generation of Nvidia cards. I literally waited a couple of weeks before covering that topic because, well, these kinds of things change a lot. The reason why though is pretty simple. Nothing is really set in stone right now when it comes to these chips. I remember reading an igorlab article detailing an approximation of a GPU's production timeline. According to him, we know the architecture, we might have an idea of the max CUDA core count for each chips from whispers in the industry, but nothing is set in stone for the RTX 4000 series. During the first quarter of this year, we would have been in the electrical and thermal design phase for RTX 4000s. At the same time, the 3090 Ti got announced, and that one was rumored to be a sort of proof of viability for the next generation's power consumption. Then, once again, according to Igor, in June, things would start to accelerate. Manufacturers would have the bill of materials. Right now would be where the EVT happens, or engineering validation testing, and early next month would be the design validation test. Keep in mind that while some chips might be in manufacturers' hands right now, Nvidia's hold on them is pretty tight and no leaks are tolerated. Anyways, right now, engineering samples are getting shipped out to AIBs, and design validation testing is going to happen in early to mid-July. So as we get closer to next month, and during the next month, we'll see those leaks get more and more robust. In fact, they changed again about a day ago. Just to highlight the changes, the RTX 4090 is currently testing at 16,384 CUDA cores with 24 gigabytes of GDDR6X at 21 gigabits per second, and with a TDP of 450 watts. So about the same as the last leak. The RTX 4080 though was tweaked a little to 10,240 CUDA cores. Copite, the leaker, is unsure of the rest, but the specs proposed are 16 gigabytes of memory and a TDP of 420 watts. And lastly, there would be the RTX 4070. It would sport 7,168 CUDA cores. It would also have 10 gigabytes of GDDR6, so 2 gigabytes less than the previous leaks, and all of that at a TDP of 300 watts. That 4070 spec is kind of interesting. I mean, a lot of people, me included, were clowning on the 3070 and 3080 for having less than 12 gigabytes of memory. And at the time, we were kind of right. Some games wouldn't even run at their highest settings because of VRAM allocation. Nowadays though, things changed. Not only do we have technologies like FSR2, RSR, NIS, DLSS2, and others that exist that reduce the VRAM load at higher resolutions, but you also have technologies like Direct Storage API and resizable bar support that can help. Not only that, but the next generation of GPUs from AMD and Nvidia are said to include some sort of very large cache, which really increases the effective memory bandwidth of the GPU. Nvidia is rumored to have a huge amount of L2 cache at 96 megabytes for the highest end GPUs. The amount will be reduced as you go down the stack. Just keep in mind that every single RTX 4000 GPU will have way more cache than even an RTX 3090 Ti. So the 4090 would have essentially 16 times more L2 cache. And on the AMD side, they apparently are looking at 6 memory complex dies on the highest end with 64 megabytes of L3 cache on each chiplet. That's 384 megabytes of infinity cache, or 3 times as much as the 6900 XT. So yeah, will the 10 gigabytes of VRAM on a high-end card even be a problem again? I personally don't think so. Oh, and going back to the specs, these GPUs really just got spread out compared to the RTX 3000 series. Remember the CUDA core difference between a 3080 and a 3090? I think it was about 20% for literally 2.5 times the price. Well, now with these rumored specs, it's a whole 60% increase from the 4080 to the 4090. So maybe that will justify the price difference once we hear about the actual prices. Oh, and as a little kicker, Kopite7Kimi said that we should not expect lower MSRPs, and I mean, it's obvious, but still, he does take note of it. So what do you guys think about all this? Are all the technologies that I mentioned enough to counteract a lower VRAM size, or are you the kind of person who has to play at native resolutions? Let me know down below. Anyways, guys, that is pretty much it for today's catch-up. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Drop a like if you liked it, a comment if you want to talk about today's stories. Hopefully I'm not blending into the background too much. Have yourselves a great day. You can click right here to see the latest video, right here to subscribe to the channel. Stay frosty, my dudes, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Nothing ever feels so real.